Let's go.
Let's do it.
I should probably sneeze.
Yeah.
You don't want me to
Cough louder.
cough louder. No, I'll do something else. Hello and welcome, dear audience, colleagues, parents, teachers, winners. Welcome to the 2024 Juvenes Translatores award ceremony in Brussels.
Welcome indeed. My name is Beatrice. This is Micha. And we are real life EU officials. We exist. Professional translators working for the European Commission. And for today, we will be your masters of ceremony. We will take you through today's program, which is more or less 2 hours. And at the end of it, you will receive your awards.
The awards ceremony here in the Charlemagne building in Brussels is an occasion for us to marvel at your brilliance, to celebrate your achievements, and to give you a platform to address the world in your own words, or indeed through music.
Spoiler alert. The laureates won't be the only ones doing the talking. We will also lend an ear to Marko Trobeušek, a Slovenian teacher, writer and translator, and to Radka Denemarková, who's a Czech novelist, translator and essayist. Before we go on, I would like to remind you that thanks to all of our interpreters, there is interpretation into all EU official languages. The numbers, yes, clap, clap. You can find the numbers on the 2 screens. You just select them on your station.
And now, to kick us off, to shed some light on the figures and emphasize what a big deal the Juvenes Translatores contest really is the big boss himself, Director General of the Directorate General for Translation of the European Commission, Christos Elenides.
Beatrice, Micha, thank you very much for the introduction. Grazie. Voilà. Dear winners of the 2024 Juvenes Translatores contest, dear parents and teachers, dear colleagues, distinguished guests, welcome to the 18th award ceremony of the Juvenes Translatores contest here at the European Commission headquarters in Brussels, but also online, out there, in the virtual sphere. We are also, like I said, happy to have among us many distinguished guests from other European institutions and Commission departments. I would like to thank you all for being here with us to celebrate this very special moment for 27 brilliant European students. It's also great to see so many teachers, family members, and friends here today. And last but by no means least, again, let me salute the stars of today's show, the winners of the 2024 Juvenes Translatores competition. Congratulations to all 27 of you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Juvenes Translatores competition has been running since 2007 with one single ambition: to promote language learning in schools throughout Europe. The award ceremony is always a special moment for the European Commission, and for me, personally. It's one of those events actually in my agenda that I really look forward to, and there are not many. This fantastic contest has now turned 18, and that's roughly the same age as many of this year's participants and winners. It is a pity that this contest was not up and running when I was your age. But even if I had the chance to take part in it, I suspect my chances of winning would have been slim at best. Maybe my personal experience in learning ancient Greek at the time had such a distressing impact on me that I decided that my craving was not for languages, but it was for science. In fact, I decided there and then that for me personally, Greek and English was sufficient. But I changed my mind when I joined the European Commission. In this unique, multilingual place, all colleagues are encouraged to learn a third language. Otherwise, they will not be able to promote it. So, at the age of 45, I started learning French. And trust me, I'm so glad I did. Although it is fair to say that for older people, learning a new language is much harder than it is for you. But I think it keeps us young and open to the world. It also keeps our mind open to other cultures. Every language we learn provides us with a different way of looking at the world. By learning languages, we keep our brains alert and our minds buzzing, and I really believe that. What I just said is, of course, equally true for all of us, young and old. I am convinced that for those of you who took part in this year's contest, language learning is something good and positive. That's thanks to your curiosity about other languages and cultures. And also because you have dedicated teachers and also family members and parents who inspire you to produce award-winning work. I am full of admiration for what translators do every day, actually. And for you, the winners of this contest, you have shown an extraordinary talent for translation. I think we can all agree that Juvenes Translatores is an enriching experience for all who take part in it, regardless of whether they come away with a prize or a special mention or just participate. It takes courage and endurance to prepare, study, and give it your best shot on the day of the contest. And I am thrilled to see that the popularity of Juvenes Translatores is growing more and more, year after year. And this year, a record of 3,070 students from 713 schools throughout Europe participated in this contest. In addition to the 27 winners, there are also a record number of special mentions, 341 special mentions this year, highlighting the outstanding quality of this year's entries. As a truly multilingual contest, Juvenes Translatores is not about everyone translating into just one language. This year's entries are the perfect example. They included translations in 144 different language combinations with some remarkable language pairs. To mention just a few, we had translations from Polish into Portuguese, Slovenian into Danish, and Romanian into Finnish. As well as enriching, we also want to say that Juvenes Translatores, and we always want to keep Juvenes Translatores inclusive. We don't want anyone to feel left out. I am very much impressed with the number of contestants with special needs and disabilities that proudly participated in this year's contest. To these contestants, wherever you are, I can only say that I stand in front of you with humility. You know who you are, and you know what you are, and a big bravo. And for the winners in this room, you should be extremely proud of what you have achieved. I'm sure that your parents, family members, friends, and teachers are equally proud. Because your success reflects the valuable support you receive at school, but also at home. I know from personal experience how reassuring and motivating it can be if you have the right crew supporting you, if you have the right people behind you, next to you. I also know that some of you had not even thought of applying until your teachers encouraged you to do so. But I have no doubt that you are glad you did take part in the celebration of linguistic talent and diversity that is the emblem of Juvenes Translatores contest. The topic for the text that you translated, digital citizenship education, is timely and current. And there is a reason we chose this subject. 2025 is the European Year of Digital Citizenship Education. These days, understanding the impact of digital technology on our lives is crucial. Digital environment and technologies offer us incredible opportunities. Online spaces can bring people together from all over the world. Thanks to digital technology, you can work or study from home, have video chats with friends and family across the planet, or even learn a new language. But there is also a downside. AI is blurring the boundaries between what is real and what is fake. Disinformation and fake news are everywhere. Online hate speech and abuse is becoming excessive. That's why digital citizenship education matters. It helps us be safe, respectful, and responsible online. It helps us think critically about the quality of information sources and be sensible about sharing our data. Your generation grew up with the internet and smartphones, so you won't be surprised that today's translation profession is almost entirely digital. Here at the Directorate General for Translation, but also in other translation services of the institutions, we are at the forefront of developing advanced language technology tools, not only for our translators, but also for our policymakers. Over our 70-year history, we have constantly innovated and embraced new technology. Artificial intelligence has changed the landscape of the translation profession again. Thanks to advancements in computer power and AI, we now have a machine translation system that uses neural network technology to mimic the human brain. All this technology helps us to translate close to 2.5 million pages per year into and out of 24 official EU languages every year. But while machine translation technology can help human translators work faster and more efficiently, it cannot replace them. It cannot replace them. Only skilled professional translators can spot awkward phrasing, inconsistencies in vocabulary, specific cultural references, and typos. Only translators can tell fact from fiction. So, although dictaphones and bulky paper dictionaries have been sent to the recycling bin of history, translators have not. Dear winners of the 2024 Juvenes Translatores contest, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you know, the new European Commission took place on 1st December 2024. Our President, Ursula von der Leyen, has put a major focus on security, prosperity, and democracy. Our aim is to create a safe, more focused, and more united Europe. The world around us is changing. You see it every day lately. These are uncertain times. European values, such as democracy, freedom, and the rule of law, are under threat and can no longer be taken for granted. We have to defend them. We must acknowledge the new realities and work together to tackle the challenges we face. To do this, we need a more responsive, flexible, and stronger union. And multilingualism is a key factor in this context. Multilingualism is the foundation for the better understanding and cooperation on which this European Union of ours is established. Thanks to our linguists, people across our union and beyond can access the same trustworthy information about how the EU works, our policies, and our activities. Looking beyond our borders right now, the European Union still remains a beacon of hope to many countries. From Ukraine and Moldova to Georgia and the Balkan states and across the area. It stands for democracy, cooperation, and progress. And you and your peers are the future of Europe. In the French and other languages, one of the words for vote, voix, is also the word for voice. The same in Czech and Slovak and other languages. The word for vote, hlas, is also the word for voice. Here in the European Commission, we all believe that it is extremely important for young people to feel their voices matter and to be actively involved in our democratic processes. It's easy to check out if you feel your voice is not heard, or to fall under the influence of people online who promote simplistic solutions to complex problems, or simply be exposed to demagogy and malevolence. That's why supporting young people is high on the Commission's agenda. Young people like you must have the chance to use your voice to help shape our future, your future. You should have more freedom and responsibility within our societies and democracies. We need you to stand up for your values and those of the EU. We need you to speak up and make your voice heard, and take your rightful place in this magnificent, majestic, and diverse continent of ours. Be a true European. We believe that we have a once-in-a-generation chance to build a stronger, more secure, and more prosperous Europe. I hope you will help us seize this moment and make it Europe's moment. Later on this morning, as Beatrice said, we will be hearing from Radka Denemarkova, a Czech novelist and translator of German literature and a creative writing teacher. Her work has been translated into 25 languages. She will project her perspective of the beauty of languages and the power of words. And of course, we will also hear from some of this year's winners and teachers. They will also be adding their insights to those of previous winners, and there have been a lot. Let me briefly share a few of those insights from past participants of the Juvenes Translatores competition. Many of them told us they realized there is no definitive right or wrong translation. There are many good ways to translate a sentence, and everyone brings their own personal touch to a translation. I think that's a sentiment all our professional translators here will agree with. One thing that stands out is that taking part in Juvenes Translatores is a chance to connect with fellow language lovers and great minds from across EU. Learning languages indeed can open doors for you. In fact, your language skills will give you an extra edge and a competitive advantage in any job market and whichever specialization you wish to pursue, and it will open up for you whichever doors you wish to open up. Thanks to talented young people like you, I feel that Europe can look forward to a bright future. You are Europe. On that note, all that remains for me is to express my sincere thanks to everyone who has made this another standout year for Juvenes Translatores. To each and every participant for finding the time and, like I said, the courage to make the leap and enter the contest. To the teachers, parents, and friends for supporting our brave contestants, I can only applaud you. To our professional translators here, many of whom are here, actually here with us today, who either marked or authored the papers for this year's entries. Thank you. To our interpreter colleagues in the booths all around us, thanks to them, spoken words are as truthful as written words. Not just today, but every day. They do it every day. Thank you. To my own team, of course, for once again organizing a fantastic competition. Thank you very much, guys. My dear winners, I have seen your posts, stories on social media, and I know many of you have boundless dreams and ambition. Pursue them. Believe in yourself. Not all of you plan to become translators, but like I said, rest assured that your language skills will serve you well whatever path you choose to follow in the future. So, I simply want to say a wholehearted well done to all of you. Thank you, and enjoy the ceremony, the rest of your stay here in Brussels, and embrace this moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christos. As our Director General just said, speak up to make your voices heard. And speak up you shall, but in a bit. First, we will have a video message from Radka Denemarkova. She's been introduced already. She's a Czech novelist, literary historian, translator, and playwright. Radka has won a number of awards and prestigious literary prizes, mostly in Czechia and in German-speaking countries. And her works have been translated into dozens of languages. So, here we go.
Liebe junge Übersetzer und Übersetzerinnen, liebe Freunde und Freundinnen der Literatur, ich gratuliere Ihnen zu diesem großartigen europäischen Preis. Es tut mir sehr leid, dass ich nicht dabei sein kann, aber ich schätze das sehr. Ich bin Schriftstellerin und meine Bücher erscheinen in 25 Fremdsprachen. Deshalb kann ich die Arbeit von Übersetzer und Übersetzerinnen sehr schätzen. Und ich sage immer meinen Übersetzerinnen und Übersetzer, bitte nie wortwörtliche Übersetzung. Es geht um die kreative Arbeit. Sie müssen mit der Zielsprache so spielen und arbeiten und darüber nachdenken, wie ich mit der Ausgangssprache also arbeite. Und ich mag sehr tschechische Sprache. Obwohl mein tschechischer Verleger möchte immer, dass ich gleich auf Deutsch schreibe oder auf Englisch und so weiter. Aber ich sage immer, nein, ich habe die tschechische Sprache unter meiner Haut. Und ich sterbe auch dabei. Ich sterbe mit dieser größten Liebe von meinem Leben und das ist die tschechische Sprache. Wir leben aber in der Zeit, wo, besonders in Europa, das Kennen von den Fremdsprachen so wichtig ist. Europa muss jetzt zusammenhalten. Wir brauchen die Solidarität. Wir müssen auch zeigen, dass Europa ist sehr stark. Das, was viele sagen heute, das ist unsere Schwäche. Nein, das ist unsere Stärke. Das heißt Demokratie, Menschenrechte und Meinungsfreiheit. Und wir leben in der Zeit, wo niemand dafür Verantwortung trägt, was er sagt, was er schreibt. Überall gibt es Desinformationen, überall gibt es Lügensfreiheit. Deshalb müssen wir unsere Positionen halten. Wir leben in der Zeit, wo wieder die großen Autoren der Literatur verboten werden. George Orwell, Kurt Vonnegut, Franz Kafka. Und das ist unsere Stärke. Die Kunst lügt nie. Und wir brauchen die Menschen, die die Wörter jetzt wieder nehmen und den einzelnen Wörtern wieder die Bedeutung geben. Weil heute zeigt man sich, dass auch in der Welt der Kampf um die Macht ist auch der Kampf um die Wahrhaftigkeit des Wortes. Ich danke Ihnen sehr dafür, dass Sie diese tolle Arbeit machen. Ich habe absolut keine Angst vor der künstlichen Intelligenz, von verschiedenen Technologien und so weiter. Warum? Die Kunst, die Literatur, das ist eigentlich Zeichen eines konkreten Lebens, der inneren Welt, des Herzens, der Seele, den Emotionen. Es geht nicht nur um Intellekt. Es geht um Empathie, Sensibilität, was Menschen die Menschen macht. Und diese Menschheit, das ist Wurzel von allen guten Sachen auf dieser Welt. Ich wünsche Ihnen Mut für den Alltag. Ich wünsche Ihnen wunderbare Momente mit der Literatur, mit der Kunst. Ich wünsche Ihnen auch für jeden Tag eine Hoffnung, und diese Hoffnung brauchen wir heute alle. Und das ist die Hoffnung, ist auch unsere parallele Welt. Und das war immer so in der Geschichte der Menschheit. Weil diese Liebe zur Sprache, zur Kunst, zur Literatur, das ist die reinste Art von der Liebe zum Leben selbst. Ich halte Ihnen die Daumen. Ich hoffe, dass wir uns eines Tages treffen und gemeinsam feiern. Genießen Sie diesen Erfolg und ich halte wirklich die Daumen für die Zukunft.
A topical message by Ratka indeed. Fighting book bans and the spread of misinformation can only succeed if we stand united in all our diversity and let art, and that includes the art of translation, carry us forward. I would now like to welcome on stage a teacher, a translator of over 10 books, mostly modern literature from French, German, English and Spanish, an author and an avid advocate of reading, Marko Trobeušek from Slovenia.
Dragi dijaki, dear students, dear teachers, dear hosts, there are probably not many of you who can understand the language I'm speaking. It's called Slovenian. It is one of EU's official languages, but by number of speakers, it is one of the smaller languages. There are about 2 million native speakers. So Slovene is not a big language, but it is a headache to learn. It is difficult to say what its biggest difficulties is. For example, any noun and adjective will appear in 6 cases. But this is not so special. There are languages that have more cases, but there's something more. We are used to singular and plural numbers, but Slovene also has something in between, dual, a third grammatical number. And on top of the feminine and masculine grammatical genders, there is also the neutral. And so every adjective requires inflections for 6 cases in all 3 numbers and for all 3 genders. So calculate. If you want to learn Slovene, you will have to memorize 6 times 3. Times 3, that is 54 forms of any adjective. And that might not be even the steepest mountain to climb. Historically, a language's complexity was seen as an advantage. More difficult than the grammar, more nuance we can express. And the most obvious example is Sanskrit, which for many quickly became the embodiment of perfection at the time when Europe was only discovering Sanskrit. That is during the British colonization of India. A judge in Calcutta, William Jones, thought in 1786 that Sanskrit was of a wonderful structure, more perfect than the Greek, more copious than the Latin, and more exquisitely refined than either. And one of the things that must have excited him was dual, a number barely any language has kept beside Slovene. But because singing praises to a language's complexity is not exactly motivating, I wanted to mention another form of perfection, which is much older and closer to the European thought. In a perfect language, a word cannot denote just anything because it is inherently linked to its meaning. Any word had practically been reserved for its own meaning, or the other way around. Umberto Eco said that this started occurring at the very beginning, during creation, when God first said, "Let there be light," and only then there was light. So first there was the utterance and then existence. So there can be no doubt of the inextricable link of a word and its meaning. Eco collected philosophical speculation on this matter in his book, The Search for the Perfect Language. But I would like to say something on it with reference to my mother tongue, while seeing perfection in a more grounded phonetic sense. Slovene, of course, is not perfect, but some of their words are close to ideal. My favorite is the word kiss, poljub. The word denoting an expression of love in Slovene consists of the phonemes p, o, l, j, u, and b. So you can quickly see how perfect this is. To pronounce p and b, you need to smack your lips. Similarly, the vowels o and u, you need to pout your lips, as if for a kiss. Then l and y, I would go into theorizing. I won't go into theorizing about these two, but phoneticians call l the liquid consonant. In Slovene, it's called the tongue consonant. And every language is full of such marvels. And of those I know a thing or two about. I've always been particularly intrigued by Basque, because it's even more complex than my language, and because its internal logic offers an insight into a peculiar, unusually rich universe of words. And this is what I wanted to talk about, the treasure that our languages are and the need to protect this treasure. And I have an idea about it that I would like to put forward, even if I need to digress for a second. In Slovenian, not long ago, an interesting shift of meaning occurred. The word izziv originally meant a call to confrontation, a duel, throwing down of the gauntlet, and then it started meaning something else. I believe that something similar happened with the English challenge. If you are tasked with a particular burdensome job to do, something you don't like to do, that has few chances of success, a job that will require extra time and needs to be completed yesterday, well then this is what would be called a challenge. Now, I would like to mount a challenge to the organizers of Juvenes Translatores. I would like to suggest that for the future editions of this competition, you find a way to include among the competition languages Basque and other indigenous languages that are not official EU languages but are spoken in its territory. Each and every one of them is a treasure, and we see that those languages were targeted during the 20th century, and this we need to stop. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Marco, for shining a light into the hidden corners of the Slovenian language. Now, everyone, you might remember how we've mentioned music before. We have our winner for Ireland, Dahin, from County Galway, which is an area steeped in Irish traditional music. She plays many instruments, including the piano. And today she will play us a selection of Irish reels. Before playing, she would also like to address us briefly in Irish, her own language. So, Dayan? Can go to the lecturer, and then the piano is yours.
Good morning. I'm very pleased to be here with you today at the European Commission on behalf of Ireland and on behalf of the Irish language. I'm also delighted to have been asked to play a lively musical piece in honour of the occasion. I will play 3 traditional reels. I'll start with a caucus reel, which was composed by Jean Duval, a Canadian. I'll then continue with the Leitrim Boys, and I will finish with one which is known to every Irish person. It's the reel Martin Seamus. This is the signature tune of an Irish language radio station, Radio na Gaeltachta, and this was composed by my great-great-uncle, Martin Seamus Fafarda. I hope you enjoy them.
How was that? Thank you, lady. Thank you for showcasing your culture and tradition in such an expressive way. Many of our winners are keen to share their stories and their perspective on the contest. We call them, why not, Juvenes oratores. And 6 of them will take to the stage today. First up is this year's winner for Estonia, Karoliina.
Kes sa oled?
Who are you? This is a question that we're asked every day. And usually we respond by saying our name. Sometimes we tell people our nationality, what we do for work, or what kind of person we are. But is that all that we are? Do we really know what this question means? There are hundreds, if not thousands, or millions of people in the world with the same name as you, with the same job, with the same nationality, the same personal characteristics that you have. One word, one single sentence, or even a page-long text isn't really enough to make the person asking the question really understand who you really are. We tend to hide ourselves behind short individual words when we really could show our true nature and be proud of who we are. We are like a tree where each individual leaf shows who we are, shows our people, shows our language, our culture, and our life path. And all of this together is what makes a person who they are. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors traveled throughout the world to arrive exactly at the point where we were born. Our forefathers and mothers created languages to be able to communicate with each other and to be able to stay alive. And that's how cultures were developed, with individual clothes, food, songs, dances, proverbs, customs, and languages belonging to each of them. Throughout the millennia, these have been passed down through families until this day and age, when it's our turn now to pass them on. Now, this development did not take place on its own, but it took place in a community of different people. Through initially small steps, people began to mix more and more, and eventually the world has become one big family. Today, we see around us the consequences of that union. Take, for a case, a city where we don't all have 100% the same blood, we don't all speak the same language. We're all human beings, and we seem so similar in one way, but at the same time, no two humans are exactly the same. So when I look at that question, who am I think I need to dig deeper than, say, my photo albums I have when I was a baby or the home videos I have. In order to understand your true nature, you need to understand the history that came before you. I'm an Estonian. I'm proud of the freedom and the language of my people that we were able to preserve, even though there are a very small number of speakers. And I share this sense of pride and the centuries-long struggle for my country through dance, through singing, and through speaking in Estonian. But that's not all that matters. I want to be part of Europe as well and understand other people and other languages too. So to do that, I studied English, German, Russian, Italian, and Finnish. And I tried to understand the history and the culture of these people. To be a proud European, I went to Germany for a year on exchange, and I did a student exchange in Spain as well. I wanted to experience life outside what I knew. No book can provide that experience or convey the knowledge that you yourself can learn by living in a different country. So this experience made me think about who I am in a different way and what's made me me. Seeing life through the eyes of a different nationality is only possible, of course, through knowing the local language. No translation can translate the emotion and the meaning behind the words that are spoken. Like
you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. Keel pole vaid sõnad, vaid see on meie vahel.
So the key Language is words, it's a connection between who we are, and we ourselves can decide on our identity and what makes up our identity. And one way of understanding who you are is to look at the world around you and to know different languages in order to get that understanding. When we can do that, I think that makes us ready to answer to the question, and that's when you can tell your story to the world.
Well, thank you, Carolina. I guess we can all agree that there is no better way of learning about the world than through languages. Our next speaker is the winner for Greece, Antonios Angelos.
Sorry, my heart is shaking. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, fellow language lovers, it is an incredible honor to stand before you today as Greece's representative, Juvenes Translatores, the European Translation Contest. To be honest, I thought about opening this speech in ancient Greek, just to make things interesting. But then I remembered that even modern Greeks struggle with Plato, so I decided to keep it simple. Today is about celebration of language, of culture, of what brings us truly together. Translation is often called an art, a science, or even a necessity, but to me, it is something much greater. It is proof that humanity is capable of understanding one another, and in today's world, that is no small thing. Europe is built on bridges, some made of steel and stone, but the most important ones made of words. Words that connect our histories, our dreams, our ideas. When we translate, we do not simply exchange words. We exchange perspectives, emotions, entire ways of thinking. Translation makes it possible for a Greek teenager to find inspiration in a French novel, for a German scientist to build upon the research of a Spanish colleague, for an Italian song to make a Portuguese grandmother smile. It reminds us that despite our many languages, we share one human story. And what about the future? We, the next generation of Europeans, are growing up in a world more connected than ever. We are navigating social media in one language, studying in another, listening to music in a third, and watching films or reading books in a fourth. This, in my opinion, is the definition of unity through language. But language is more than a skill. It's a responsibility to listen, to learn, and to understand before we speak. In ancient Greek, there is a philosophical maxim which was inscribed upon the temple of Apollo in the sacred precinct of Delphi. Gnothi safton, know thyself. Language is how we do that. When we understand others, we better understand ourselves. We see that we're not so different after all, that our fears and hopes are in most cases similar, no matter the language they are spoken in. And then there's the Greek word philotimo. It has no exact translation in any other language, yet it carries deep meaning, a sense of honor, duty, and kindness towards others. It is about doing what is right, not because you have to, but because it is part of who you are. Perhaps philotimo is also at the heart of translation, an act of generosity, a willingness to bridge worlds, and a deep respect for the voices and stories of others. In what is to me the most beautiful poem in Greek literature, titled Ithaka, one of Greece's most beloved poets, Konstantinos Kavafis, writes, «Σαν βγεις στον πηγεμό για την Ιθάκη, when you set out on your journey to Ithaca, να εύχεσαι να είναι μακρύς ο δρόμος. Pray that the road is long, γεμάτος περιπέτειες, γεμάτος γνώσεις. full of adventure, full of knowledge. This is the journey of language. It is never just about the destination, about getting the correct translation, but about the process of discovery, of deepening our understanding of the world and each other. So today, let us celebrate not just translation, but connection, not just words, but meaning, not just different languages, but one shared human voice that unites us all. Thank you, and may your journeys, linguistic and otherwise, always be filled of adventure and knowledge.
Thank you, Antonios. May your journey of discovery be as described by Cavafis. Our next Juvenes speaker hails from Portugal. Her name is Maria.
Hello, everyone. It is an honor for me to be standing here in front of you all today. I feel very grateful. This is a moment I will cherish forever. First of all, it amazes me how everyone always talks about language barriers, when, in fact, in my opinion, the diversity in the way we talk and communicate can also be a way to be united in our differences. In the free Europe that we have today, communication is really the key to join efforts and have the better Europe of tomorrow. This is a freedom that languages allow us to have, all of this. And when talking about freedom, it reminds me of a quote from a renowned Portuguese author that talks about a distinctive type of freedom, the freedom of your heart. This author's name is Camilo Castelo Branco. He was born 200 years ago, and this year in Portugal, we are celebrating his life and his work. The quote I'd like to mention today is from my favorite book of his, Amor de Perdição. You should write it down. It says in Portuguese, a liberdade do coração é tudo. It basically means that you can only properly call yourself free once you're doing what makes your heart happy and fulfilled. You're probably wondering why I chose this and what this quote means for me, so I'll explain. If there's something that I know for a fact, is that the only thing that will ever make my heart feel that way is becoming a voice to those who are voiceless and becoming the ears to those unfairly treated ones who are not heard. That is why I want to go to law school, and that is why I want to become a judge. It is not a simple dream to me, but a goal that I really, really want to achieve. The thing I'd like you to keep in mind today is that we all here, Juvenes Translatores winners of 2025, have proven that we are capable of achieving anything we want. There is no such thing as impossible dreams, and we are living proof. You, everyone here, should always do what makes your heart feel free and fulfilled, because a liberdade do coração é tudo. And for me, that is the only way to ever achieve success. Thank you all for listening to me. Thank you for your time and attention. It was definitely my pleasure.
Thank you for speaking with such determination, Maria. May the voice you lend to those who are voiceless be heard far and wide. After Maria, we'll hear from the Polish winner. Victor will not speak, but he will let the music of his favorite composer, Ludwig van Beethoven, carry his message, which is one of profound emotion and perseverance.
Victor has been playing the piano for as long as he can remember. For him, music is not only a form of expression, but a space where emotion, intellect, and imagination meet. Beethoven, in particular, holds a special place in his heart, not just for the brilliance of his compositions, but for the way the composer transcended his personal hardship and conveyed his thoughts and messages through music.
So the piece we will hear today is entitled Adagio Cantabile and is taken from Beethoven's Sonata Pathétique. The second movement stands in a striking contrast to the sonata's turbulent opening. It is calm, lyrical, and beautifully balanced, and it reveals a more introspective and delicate side of Beethoven's style. Even today, this movement remains one of his most beloved and admired for its simplicity and its timeless elegance.
Would you please welcome on stage Victor Alish. Thank you, Victor. It's still in the air, the music. It is. Don't you wish every day was like this? Up next is our fourth student speaker, Alexandra from Bulgaria.
Здравейте.
Hello, everyone. It is an extreme honor to be here today, standing in front of you on perhaps the highest podium in value on the whole continent, the place that determines the destiny of all our countries in Europe. It is even a bigger honor for me to be able to speak here in my mother tongue. I'm Alexandra Atanasova from Bulgaria, and I'm here to represent my home country and share with you something that was as if left behind in our everyday lives, something that we take for granted. All of us here in this room are united around one common thing, the reason why we're here: foreign languages. Isn't this the ultimate goal for all of us, to study, learn everything that the world can provide, to learn languages, days on and on, sitting at the textbooks and studying everything in front of us. But in this strive of ours, to learn everything that the world provides externally, we forget to take a look internally. In our strive to learn all the other foreign languages around the world, we forget about our own. No matter how far we go, physically or verbally, with the help of languages, our home connection always awaits. Our mother tongue is the tongue of our feelings, of our thoughts, our first words, and the legacy from our predecessors. This is why, no matter how valuable it is to learn the languages of the world, to me personally, it is equally important to know in depth my mother tongue. No matter how great an honor it is to be able to freely speak a foreign language, it belongs to another nation. This is why my message today, the message I would like to leave behind myself, and the message I hope will reach the right people, is please study in depth your mother tongues. Be proud that you are able to use it. Be proud that you know it, because, as I've already said, this is actually your own language. This is your identity. I'm proud to state I'm Bulgarian. I'm proud to be able to speak Bulgarian and to claim I have mastered my mother tongue correctly. So my advice to you is stand up with the same pride, with the self-esteem when you speak your mother tongue. Let us, the young people of our nations, keep our languages pure and transfer their beauty, their nature to the other generations, the treasure they hold to the ones that will come after us. And I sincerely hope that you and I will be able to achieve all this, because in our everyday reality, we're communicating so closely across borders that everything is sort of blurred. Let us be really the proud carriers of our languages. I will be that carrier, and I hope you will be too. That was from me, Alexandra from Bulgaria. Thank you very much for your time and attention. And let us save and keep our languages pure. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra. Having lived abroad myself for a few years now, I know exactly what you mean when you speak about nurturing your mother tongue and how important and difficult it can be. Now, we have our penultimate young speaker, Francesco from Malta. Here you are. Welcome.
Bonjour lil kulħadd.
Good morning, everybody. Imagine if you had just set foot on Malta hundreds of years ago. You would have heard a story in the fortifications of Mdina of those who spoke Arabic, Italian, French, and English. However, Maltese is the echo of a population that, despite falling under these empires, found a way, its unique way to speak. From a language that started as pure Arabic, changed to a language which still has a Semitic basis, but has mixed itself with all these new languages. As a person changes, this is a language that has changed step by step and adapted to it and to its history. Each language is like a brick of an old city. It is the basis of the future, however. Languages are alive. They carry the stories of those who spoke them before us, of the battles they fought, of the dreams they shared and of the friendships they formed. And yet, beyond history, languages have a superpower. Languages unite us. I did realize this when on the first day of a school trip, more like today, I had an accent that instantly caught the Italian eye. I turned to a student and asked him, "Sei Italiano?" 2 simple words, but in that moment they served as a key. A key that opened the doors to a strong friendship that has remained beyond the sea that separates us. This is the power of languages, not just to simply communicate between ourselves, but to create a unity that goes beyond borders, beyond politics, beyond differences. Unfortunately, today we forget this power. We live in the information bubbles where we choose what to hear, what to read, and what to believe. Every moment where we deprive ourselves of listening to a language, a perspective, or a voice, we are putting a brick to build a wall that suffocates us. We risk breaking the bridges that languages build. And when these bridges collapse, what is left? Incomprehension, division, and extremism. However, I refuse to believe that this is the world we should accept. Because we do know the opposite. We know how, with a single word, we realize that how a stranger can feel the welcome of his home. How, with a conversation, however imperfect or broken it is, it can create a connection that goes beyond the boundaries we built ourselves. Having grown up half Maltese and half...
No, growing up half...
Ogni volta che viaggiavamo in un piccolo paese in Puglia per incontrare I miei parenti, era come entrare in una nuova dimensione. Un mondo dove le
Every time we traveled to a small town in Puglia to meet my relatives, it was like entering a new dimension, a world where the streets spoke with a different rhythm and seemed to sing to a different tune. Yet despite the differences in my Italian with a foreign accent, I belonged in both worlds, and I understand that languages are like a passport, but they're not just there for traveling, but they're there to help you belong. They give us the power to enter the world of the locals, where every expression, every joke, and every accent tells its own story.
That often tells us to take sides, to stick to our own, to fear the other. But I stand here today surrounded by you, fellow students from all over Europe, and I know that there is another way. Far from this thought that separates us. Language is that way, translation is that way, understanding is that way, and what we are doing here is that way as well. We are not just students who translate the text. For a moment we tasted being ambassadors of dialogue, of diplomacy, of peace. Because where words exist, war does not. Where dialogue flourishes, division fades. Where we choose to listen, we choose to embrace rather than exclude. A language is not just a tool, it is a home, a refuge, a declaration that we are willing to reach out to others rather than shut them out. Every language we try to learn is a new way we let ourselves see the world. Every time we translate, we break down walls and build something greater. And for this, thank you, dear translators. Għax l-ilsna huma ikbar.
Because languages are bigger than words. They are history, they are connection, they are the strength that allow us to grow together. And ultimately, they are indeed the foundation of a world that must be better tomorrow than yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Francesco, for your words of wisdom and unwavering optimism, delivered in a trilingual speech. If memory serves, the first one ever on Juvenes Translatores. Now then, one more from our Juvenes oratores, Sabina Elena from Romania.
Hi. So, we've all talked together today about how beneficial learning a foreign language is. They all tell us about the undeniable benefits they hold, the power they provide. Nevertheless, it is all just chatter, since we are actually too young to benefit from increased job opportunities or a generous salary thanks to our abilities. That's what I used to think, at least, and I used to think that it's all actually kind of pointless. But then something just dawned on me. And I would like to tell you the Juvenes Translatores fairy tale. Being a writer who publishes predominantly for children, this vision just struck me, you know? I realized we might all be charming knights dashing to the desired land. And we cannot name this land, but we know that it exists. On our journey, however, we meet all kinds of difficult dangers, which teach us more about ourselves. The greatest monster, it appears, is actually a dragon with 12 heads, and its name is the decline of democracy. And this monster shows its face more or less evidently depending on the land we are crossing. However, we are very cunning. We all have some little helpers, the side character every story has in abundance. And these are our foreign languages. One language might render the speaker the ability to understand everybody, like English. Another one might boost up the strength of the speaker. Some of the languages might turn the speakers into stone due to their overwhelming grammar, or perhaps enable one to fly due to their rapid flow. I'm looking to Italian. Those who know the greatest number of languages and who possess a good command of them are the most able to summon these side characters, these helpers, and help them in the fight against the great evil. What is most important to remember, though, is this: the journey is never ending, and unlike fairy tales, once you conquer the monster, it doesn't vanish. It hides, it grows uglier and more resentful, and it strikes back. Therefore, your weapons should always be sharpened. Your helpers should wait upon your call, so you can protect your land upon all circumstances. Thank you.
I like that. Art and languages as superpowers in the fight against evil. Anyway, I don't know if you noticed, but although the topic of this year's contest was digital citizenship education, not a single young speaker spoke about technology, AI, digital manipulation, virtual reality.
Or indeed the future of the translation profession, over which we've been obsessing these past few years. I'll just leave that here for our colleagues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Sabina Elena. I can't see you. I can. Hi. Thanks to all the speakers and performers. We have reached a big moment. The official announcement of the winners. Well, you've been announced.
The award.
Yeah, I know.
Giving moment.
The moment where we give our winners the awards.
Yes, to present the award, we'll welcome back on stage our Director General, Christos Elinides. And we will present them in protocol order, that is the alphabetical order of the EU member states in their own language. So, everyone, I hope you're ready because there's 27 rounds of applause coming up. We will start with Belgium. The winner has been in bilingual education since kindergarten and by his own admission took part in the contest just to get out of Dutch class. Respect. For his translation from English into French, it's félicitations to Alexandre Nadin. Come. Getting out of the way.
Learn. See. The winner for Bulgaria has interests ranging from languages through dance, music, puzzles, maths, philosophy, fashion, IT. God. She translated from English to Bulgarian, and we've seen her on stage a while ago. It's Chestito to Alexandra Tanasova.
Next up, we have the winner for Czechia. She believes that technology will never replace the human factor, and she has proved it with her translation from English into Czech. Gratulujeme tu Valerie Kopsová.
The winner for Denmark, yes, who translated from German to Danish, is passionate about reading, sailing, running, currently training for the upcoming marathon in her hometown. Tillykke to Johanna Ore Berger.
Now we have the winner for Germany, who credits her mom and the board game Scrabble, among other things, for getting her into languages early on. Nowadays, she's a passionate reader and a poetry writer. Herzlichen Glückwunsch to Charlotte Kratius.
The winner for Estonia translated from German to Estonian. She joined us on stage earlier. You remember her. It's Karoliina Riisalu. Palju õnne!
We already know that the winner for Ireland has a talent for music and is a proud speaker of a minority language, although she does not see it that way. She, of course, translated into her own native Irish. Let's welcome back to the stage Dane Niharta. Come, Jorges.
The winner from Greece, from the island of Chios, has found translation to be his calling and this win to be a stepping stone to something even bigger. He translated from English to Greek, and our sicharitiria go to Adonios, Agilos, Yorgulis.
Congratulations. The winner for Spain appreciates literature and cinema, but above all, she values quality time with her friends. She would like to study psychology with a side of languages. For her translation from English into Spanish, enhorabuena to Leonor Gómez Álvarez.
The winner for France is a big fan of literature who loves discovering languages through their writers, poets, and thinkers. I agree, teachers, block your ears. Classrooms can get a bit boring from time to time. For her translation from Italian to French, we'd like to extend our félicitations to Emma Lefranc.
Our winner for Croatia is multi-talented, and she cannot be in Brussels with us today because she's taking part in a dance competition. So her teacher will collect her work, Dusan Kakotsian, but it's Čestitke to Uma Kiric, and good luck on your contest.
The winner for Italy translated from English to Italian. She is a fond reader and says she enjoys the fact that languages do not come in isolation, but each with its own unique cultural baggage. Therefore, congratulazioni to Matilde Bianchi.
The winner for Cyprus is named after the sacred plant of the goddess Aphrodite, which is fitting since she's also passionate about ancient Greek and Latin. She sings and records daily in her free time and has won several music awards. It's Mirto Ekonomidou, Sinaritiria.
Our winner for Latvia speaks 4 languages and says that each one of these brings out a different version of her. She translated from German into her mother tongue, Latvian, and deserves to hear Apsveicam for her effort. Simona Maira Miller.
So after Latvia, we have Lithuania. The winner for Lithuania enjoys writing poetry and journaling, and she says that winning Juvenes has reinforced her determination to work with languages. Alante Litvinaite, sveikinimai. Smile, smile, smile.
Here's a challenge. The winner for Luxembourg translated from Spanish to English. He hails from a family of philologists, but he's looking to turn his back on the family tradition and get a degree in engineering, in specifically aerospace. Enhorabuena to Julián González Artero.
The winner for Hungary has been learning English since kindergarten, but won with a translation from German. And both languages she finds are equally useful to connect with others. Gratulalok to Ilesh Nora. Cinderella moment.
The winner from Malta can do translation on the side, but he's aiming at a law degree and a career in diplomacy. We've heard from him today and marveled at his proficiency in 3 languages. And here he is again, Francesco Giorgino Prosit.
The winner for the Netherlands, who won thanks to her translation from German into Dutch, is a painter and an art enthusiast who's planning on branching out into computer sciences. Her name is Isabelle Clemen. Here's to Isabelle. Gefeliciteerd.
The winner for Austria chose Slovak as her source language. It's the language she speaks with her mother. Apparently, she too signed up for Juvenes Translatores to skip class. Is there a pattern emerging somewhere? Here's herzlichen Glückwunsch to Lea Grete.
So another familiar face, the winner for Poland. We already know he's a talented piano player. What you might not know is that it was a translation from German into Polish that earned him his award. So gratulujemy to Viktor Alish.
The winner for Portugal, you'll remember, believes that you can only properly call yourself free once you're doing what makes your heart happy and fulfilled. This will be her second time on this stage. Parabéns to Maria Ferreira.
Congratulations. Our winner for Romania is quite literally a powerhouse. She loves weightlifting, and she has published a novel for children, as she mentioned. She used to look up to Juvenes Translatores winners, and now here she is. So, felicitari to Sabina Elena Tercea.
The winner for Slovenia has a deep interest in the arts, history and culture and places language learning among her top priorities. She enjoys reading, writing and traveling. Iskrene čestitke, Mila Gorkic.
The winner for Slovakia was born in Italy from Slovak parents who speak both Italian and German, so it's no surprise that she has a knack for languages. But she's also fond of traveling, video games, and music, especially metal and rock, I'm told. Gratulujem to Sara Gondovej.
The winner for Finland did a stint working in Sweden last summer and picked up Swedish on the way, and she realized she didn't need to speak it perfectly in order to communicate, and that was enough to convince her to take part and win.
Just like that.
It worked. Onneksi olkoon to Anni Silvoniemi.
Now just one award left on the table, so we've gotten to the last winner for Sweden. She'll read anything from romance to autobiographies, but she also tries to spend as much time in nature as possible. Grattis to Hilma Spets. Thank you.
I'd like to wait here for a second.
Here.
Yes, please do.
Okay.
It won't take a second. There! We tricked you. We said 27 rounds of applause. It was 54 because you applauded twice per winner. Well done. Well done. Well done indeed. Congratulations again to all the winners. You have come out on top, and you might think you're great, but you have no idea how brilliant you are, just by virtue of being you. Cherish and nurture your brilliance, and hopefully you'll manage to heal this crazy world of ours.
Congratulations from me too, and big thanks to everyone involved, to the parents for their tireless parenting and the teachers for their teaching. There was a word here I cannot pronounce, so I won't. And of course, thank you to our interpreters for diligently interpreting everything that's gone on.
That sounded like a wrap-up, but now, one last thing. The winners, will have a group photo taken with our Director General here on stage. The photo will be taken by our official photographer, Miriam. So please, the rest of you, she will move there. Just stay while we have the photo taken of the winners. You'll get the photo, you'll receive it. And then if the winners persist, you can also take a photo of your own. So please, winners, will you join us on stage?
Congratulations.
You can spread out a bit. This is a huge stage. Yes?
Representative.